Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be looking at something rather interesting as the Harry Potter TV show continues in its very early production stages. Now, I mentioned in a previous video that there was certain characters that should make an appearance in the new TV show, but today I want to talk about rejected plot lines, more like side plots from the books that weren't included in the movies, and I've got 5 rejected plot lines I think we will definitely see feature in the TV show upon its release and following seasons. As we know, the TV show really will be focusing heavily on the books, so let's kick it off with the first plotline, and that is a visit to St. Mungo's, number 5. Now, this is something I feel we should have seen in the movies because it's a scene, a moment, that really creates a rather compassionate connection between the reader and Neville Longbottom. Like, it's not only Harry that has experienced such hurt and pain. St. Mungo's Hospital for Magical Maladies and Injuries is the Wizarding World's leading medical facility in Britain. In the Order of the Phoenix novel, Harry, Ron and Hermione visit Arthur Weasley after Voldemort's Snake Nagini attacks him. However, the trio ends up on the wrong floor. They encounter Gilderoy Lockhart, the former Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher who accidentally erased his own memories with Ron's broken wand. More importantly, in the same ward, Harry comes across Neville Longbottom's parents, Frank and Alice. He learns that they were tortured until their minds completely unhinged, driving them insane by Death Eater Bellatrix Lestrange, her husband Rodolphus, Sebastian Lestrange and Barty Crouch Jr. Harry witnesses firsthand what the effects of dark magic can do to someone, and these are people rather close to home, as Harry has a good friendship with Neville. This is a key piece of information that the movies leave out. It provides a glimpse into Neville's tragic backstory and the sacrifice his parents made in the fight against Voldemort, much like Harry's parents did too. As I said, it's so important because it adds to Harry's realization that a lot more people are going to be hurt going forward now that the Dark Lord has returned. I 100% expect to see this moment on screen as the TV shows progress. Number 4. The Marauders Backstory. This story explains so much and sheds a lot of light on the events that led to Harry being in the situation he's actually in. The 4 Marauders were a fun-loving, rule-breaking gang that bullied their way to the top of the Hogwarts student social ranks. Through magical brilliance, they created the Marauders map, which Fred and George use so efficiently before giving it to Harry to use for himself. The movies leave out the strained rivalry between Harry's dad James and the boys' current potions professor Severus Snape, showing that Harry's dad was basically an asshole and a cocky, arrogant bully who ganged up on Snape with the help of his friends. Both James and Snape loved Lily, which further fueled their rivalry. The moment is quite important for Harry because it helps him to understand that his dad was not this superhero individual who sacrificed all for the good of wizard kind straight away. He was the opposite at the beginning, but Harry eventually sees that his dad came full circle on his journey, shedding his immature bullying ways and became an honourable man with age. This story shows the trust the 4 boys had in each other and how that trust was shattered as the sword of war came down upon everyone, eventually breaking Peter Pettigrew, causing him to betray his friends. Super important plotline, guys. It needs to be added to the show. Number 3. How Neville Longbottom could have also been the chosen one. So guys, something that isn't even touched on in the movies is the strong possibility that Neville Longbottom could have been the chosen one, not Harry. And if you actually apply how heavy his involvement was in destroying Voldemort, it can still be argued that he could have been the chosen one, not Harry. Both Neville and Harry's parents thrice defied Voldemort. Both Neville and Harry were born at the end of July. The leaning point for the Dark Lord towards Harry was the fact that he and Harry were both half-blood. That is why he marked Harry as his equal. It's Neville's contribution that tips the House Cup in Gryffindor's favour. Harry, Ron and Hermione won loads of points, yes, that's true, but they were only making up for the amount of points they lost from breaking so many rules previously, so they just made up for it. After Harry leaves Hogwarts, Neville is the one who becomes the leader of Dumbledore's army. He's the one who stood against Voldemort in the courtyard when everyone was standing down, and of course, Neville destroys Voldemort's final Horcrux Nagini, rendering the Dark Lord mortal once again, and finally taking revenge for his parents' attack. I hope it's highlighted just how close Neville came to being the Chosen One in the TV series, as I think it's a very interesting subplot. Number 2. Voldemort's full backstory. This plot was massively underdeveloped for the movies and has so much detail in it that it could be a series within itself, something that many fans have cried out for actually, but it's not to be, unfortunately. Hopefully they can dedicate at least an entire episode to Voldemort's backstory. As a young Tom Riddle, there's so much to cover from what we've read in the books. They can deep dive into the unhappy life of Voldemort's mother Marauders, a witch who suffered abuse her entire life from her father and brother, a woman whose magic was oppressed, a woman who bewitches Voldemort's muggle father into falling in love with her by giving him a love potion, how she ends up in an orphanage and dies after childbirth. We also learn about Voldemort's grandfather Marvolo Gaunt and his uncle Morphin, both pureblood fanatics who have clearly lost their minds due to years of inbreeding. We could get to see the teenage Tom Riddle murder his father Tom Sr., his paternal grandparents, and then his mother's father Marvolo before framing his uncle Morphin for the crime. We can also see him stealing the Gaunt Signet family ring, which contains the Resurrection Stone, and wear it like a trophy around Hogwarts before turning it into a Horcrux. It's a pivotal moment in Tom Riddle's character development, and it would be a massive shame not to see it in the forthcoming series. Number 1. Ariana Dumbledore's backstory. Now this is something we'll definitely see. Well, we should definitely see in the TV show, and here's why. Not only is it of course a big part of Dumbledore's character development, but it also gives J.K. Rowling the chance to film the scene that she won't get to film with the cancellation of the Fantastic Beasts series. I'm sure she had things she wanted to include, so we may just get additional detail on what happened to Ariana and whose spell it was that actually killed her. We may even see Gellert Grindelwald appear in a flashback in the show. Anything can happen if J.K. Rowling sees fit to go into such a level of detail. This backstory is so important because it prompts Dumbledore to change who he is, to reconsider the person he is, his character, and just think about where his life is going. He blames himself for his sister's death and dedicates his life to the education of the wizards of the future, secluding himself in Hogwarts due to his overwhelming lust for power. It's a really important plotline because it highlights to Harry that everyone has a past, but it's not one's past that defines them, it is the person they choose to be. Something Harry holds close to his heart, as he once questioned whether he was more like Voldemort than he thought. I think this will be added in for sure, as I said, it's such a crucial plotline. So guys, that is my 5 projected movie plotlines that featured in the book that we just might see in the TV show when it's released. If you have any additional plotlines you want to add, then feel free to do so in the comment section below. Make sure to look out for the next video, because it just might be a little bit better than this one.